Hello friends. In my previous video, I had solved one problem on type 2 of Fourier transforms, which dealt with the application of not only the definition but also the inversion formula and the application of Parseval's theorem. So continuing the same type, let me do one more problem in this video for better clarity. So the question reads this way. Find the Fourier transform of the function f of x, where f of x is given to be a square minus x square in the interval mod x less than or equal to a, where a is a constant, and 0 in the remaining part of the interval. Along with this, we need to prove three more very important results. So he says, hence prove that number 1, integral 0 to infinity sine of as minus as cos of as divided by s cube, this term, into cos of as by 2, a into s by 2 ds, is given to be 3 pi a square divided by 16. We need to prove this result. Don't get scared looking at a big expression in the integrand. The procedure is very simple, as we have done in the last video. Then it is sin x minus x cos x divided by x cube dx. This is the other integral that he wants us to prove. This is also just a step which comes from the previous integral. And the third part that he wants us to prove is integral 0 to infinity sin as minus as cos as divided by s cube, the whole square. I'm sure you already would have got to know what we have to apply to get this answer, and that is equal to pi a square divided by 15. So this is a question which has four parts again in this problem, so it's a lengthy one again. We need to find the Fourier transform first and then find out the values of these three subdivisions. One follows from the other. So let's start off without wasting any more time to part 1. So I'll start the solution writing it as part 1, which is to find out the Fourier transform of f of x, where f of x is given to us. So now, as we have said earlier in our earlier problems, because the given function, if you look at the given function, f of x is equal to a square minus x square in the interval mod x less than or equal to a. Now what is mod x less than or equal to a? It's minus a less than or equal to x less than or equal to a. Now our aim is to find the nature of f of x. So I'm sure you guess that you have to replace x by minus x. So where all do you have an x? Here you have, here you have. So I'll write it as a square minus x whole square in the interval minus a less than or equal to minus x less than or equal to a. Right? We have replaced x by minus x. So what does this further imply? That f of minus x is equal to a square minus x square. And if you rewrite this inequality, it once again becomes minus a2 plus a. The reason being a less than or equal to minus x less than or equal to b will imply and implied by minus b less than or equal to x less than or equal to minus a. So if you look at 1 and 2, equations 1 and 2, it means that in the interval minus a to a, the functions are the same. And therefore, 1 and 2 will prove here, therefore, that f of minus x is equal to f of x. And what does this mean? That f of x is an even function of x. So we have proved the nature, or we have found the nature of f of x, and that is an even function. And therefore, now that it's an even function, what do we have to proceed further to find the nature of f of x cos x and f of x sin x? So what will the first one be? The f of x is even, we just now proved, cos is even, we just now proved, and therefore the result is again an even function. It's an even function of x. And look at the next result. Here it is an even function and it is an odd function. and therefore the product of even and odd is again an odd function of x. So we have found now the nature of not just f of x but also the nature of f of x cos and f of x sin. Now using this we shall go ahead with the definition. So we shall start with the definition. So I'll write the definition of Fourier transform. So the Fourier transform of f of x is 1 by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of x e to the power isx dx. Now we need to replace e power isx, as you are all aware, by cos sx plus I sin sx. We shall write it and split it into two integrals. So 1 by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of x cos sx dx plus I divided by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of x sin sx dx. Now, if you look at the nature of these two functions, as we have seen above, one is even and the second one is odd. And whichever is odd, we shall cancel it as the integral value will be 0. Now, integral minus infinity to plus infinity, therefore, for an even function will become 2 by root 2 pi integral 0 to infinity f of x cos sx dx, and this is nothing but your Fourier transform of f of x. Now we shall substitute the function and the limits. If you note, the limit function, the function which was given to you is a square minus x square in minus a to a, and look at the upper limit, it is a, our lower limit continues to be 0. So if you draw the number line, we are interested only in the interval 0 to a. So here it will become integral 0 to a square minus x square cos of sx dx. So we have a product to integrate. So and we have one of the terms of the product to be a polynomial. So the obvious solution will be to choose the Bernoulli rule. So let us write u to be a square minus x square and v to be cos of sx. Now therefore what will u dash become? Minus 2x, u double dash will be minus 2, u triple dash will be 0, and therefore we shall integrate v until v3. So what do you get here? This will be sine of sx. Integral of cos of sx is sine of sx by s. V2 integral will be minus cos of sx by s into s, which is s square, and V3 will be minus sine of sx divided by s square into s, which is s cube. So we have now finished with the integration. We shall now combine the terms, place them with arrows using a plus sign, then the next arrow with a minus sign, then the next arrow with a plus sign. So we have completed with the Bernoulli rule simplification. Now we have to consolidate the terms. So Fourier transform of f of x therefore is root of 2 by pi. Let me open a flower bracket and then write down the terms. Look at the first term. It is u v1, that is a square minus x square sine of sx divided by s. The second term, you see you have a minus sign u dash into v2. Here is a minus sign. Here is a minus sign. Three minus signs give you minus 2x into cos of sx divided by s square. Look at the third term. You have a minus, you have a plus, you have a minus. So therefore it is again a plus 2 sine of sx divided by s cube, and the limits now vary from 0 to a. Let's apply the limits now. First is the upper limit. So the Fourier transform of f of x therefore gives us root of 2 by pi. Let me now substitute the upper limit. So open up a square bracket. I need to replace x by a. So the first term, if I put, it gives you a square minus a square. So it is 0 minus 2 into, I am replacing x by a. So I get 2a cos of as divided by s square, and then I get plus 2 sine of as divided by s cube. That is the next term. So I finished with the substitution of the upper limit minus times the substitution of the lower limit. When I am putting x is 0, the sine 0 is 0. I am sure you all know. So sine 0 is 0. So this is 0 minus x is 0 and sine 0 is 0. So the lower limit is 0. And therefore, what happens? Fourier transform of f of x, therefore, if you can pull out the 2 in the from the two terms, it is 2 root of 2 by pi. Take the LCM as s cube and write the positive term first. You get sine as minus as cos of as divided by s cube, and that's your result for the Fourier transform of f of x. So by doing a simple expression which is nothing new, we started by defining the nature of f of x, the nature of f of x cos sx and sin sx, and then started off with the definition and rewrote the answer this way. Now you are ready with the Fourier transform of f of x. So the first part of the problem gets over here. Now let us base this, call it 1, and let us use this one to solve our second part. So let me write down what we have to prove in the second part. So to prove that, so I will say it is to prove integral 0 to infinity sine as minus as cos as divided by s cube. So that's my integrand multiplied by cos of as by 2. If you see, integrating with respect to s is giving you 3 pi a square by 16. Now this is what we need to prove. If you look at it very carefully, friends, look at f of x. This bracket, if you look, don't you see that the same bracket is appearing again in the integrand here? Yes, and as in my previous problem, I told you, when there is an integrand and you have f of s to be a part of the integrand, then please think of the inverse Fourier transform definition. So you have to use the formula of inversion when you see that f of s is occurring as an integrand. But for that, as I told you, we need to discuss again the nature of f of s and f of s cos sx and sin sx. So let's continue with that. First of all, as f of x, as we have already shown that it is an even function of x. We have shown this in our part 1. Even function of x. So I will write it as shown in part 1. What happens to its Fourier transform? The Fourier transform of f of x, that is f of s, is also an even function. This is by the property that we proved. So even function of x. So by which result is this true? This is by a property which we have learnt. So we already have therefore the nature of f of s. And therefore, what will be the nature of f of s into cos sx? Is it a nature even function of s or x? I think we did a mistake here. It is not x. It is now s, because f of s is what we have. It's an even function of s. So what will be the nature of f of s cos and f of s sin sx? So the nature here will be f of s is even, cos is even. So the product of two even functions is again even. So this is an even function of s. And similarly, f of s into sine, which is even, sine is odd, the product of even and odd is an odd function of s. So now we have found the nature of both f of s and the two products. Keeping this in mind, we should now start by the definition of Fourier inverse transform. So by the definition of inverse Fourier transform, it will become f inverse of f of s. I am writing the definition first. It becomes 1 by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of s. The kernel, if you remember, it's e power minus isx, and integration is done with respect to s. Now the first step before we substitute f of s, you must rewrite e power minus isx as cos sx minus I sin sx. By doing so, I split this integral into two integrals, 1 by root 2 pi integral f of s cos sx ds minus I divided by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of s sin of sx ds. Now look at what is the nature we have found. This is even, this is odd, and which is odd we shall remove and make it 0. Now this integral which is even, we shall now rewrite it. Remember the left hand side, It is f inverse of f of s. So what is f inverse of f of s? It is nothing but f of x. And so if I rewrite this as 2 by root 2 pi integral 0 to infinity f of s cos sx ds. Now comes the substitution for f of s from our part 1. And also note that the variation of s is always from minus infinity to plus infinity or 0 to infinity, but the upper limit continues to be infinity. It will not change as you have a variation in x. So please continue the limit as it is. So it is root of 2 by pi 0 to infinity, and note that from part 1 I will write the answer here. From part 1, you got f of s to be 2 times root of 2 by pi into sine as minus as cos as divided by s cube. This was your answer. Now we'll carry that forward here and write the result as 2 times root of 2 by pi. Now you put a bracket sine as, I'll put a bracket for it, minus as cos as divided by s cube. I am now substituting for f of x. F of s, this is from where? It is from part 1. Now what is left in this? There you have cos sx. So I will write cos sx as it is, and integration is done with respect to s. We are not evaluating the integral here. We are only simplifying. So I will continue to do this by writing down the constant on the right side to be 4 by pi if you simplify it. And now leave the integral as sine of as minus as cos of as divided by s cube into cos sx ds. Okay. Now let me keep this as it is. I will keep the integral one side and the remaining terms on the right side so that I make use of it to declare the result as it is required in our problem. So as cos of as by s cube into cos of sx dx is equal to, take that 4 by pi to the other side, it becomes pi by 4 into f of x. I call this equation number 2. Now look at the question that he wants. The question he wants you to prove is integral 0 to infinity. Let me write it down here for you. Now what is the required equation, required integral? It is integral 0 to infinity sine as minus as cos as divided by s cube. Don't you agree this is already there? So it's already here. And multiplied by what? Cos of as by 2 ds he wants is equal to some result he wants you to prove. So what is the change you think is happening? In place of x you need to replace a by 2 to get back this expression. So don't you agree that one substitution for x will give you the answer? Yes. So what is that substitution we need to make? Put x is equal to a by 2 in 2. Now where all are we making the substitution? One is here and one is here. So let us do that. So that becomes integral 0 to infinity sine of as minus as cos of as divided by s cube into cos of, here you see sx. So I am putting a by 2 as x. So ds is equal to pi by 4 into f of x at x is equal to a by 2. Now I have got the left hand side as the right hand side. So left hand side is what is the required. I've already got it as the left hand side of the required. What I need to now still find is what is f of x at a by 2. So let me go back to my function. What is the given function? F of x is a square minus x square in the interval minus a. Now where is a by 2? Don't you agree that a by 2 lies in the interval minus a? Yes, indeed it does. So simply substitute x is equal to a by 2 here, and that gives you a square minus a square by 4, or it is 3a square by 4. So I'll take this expression and substitute it on the right side and see how my final answer resembles. 0 to infinity sine of as minus as cos of as divided by s cube into cos as by 2 now becomes what? Pi by 4 into 3a square by 4, which we have just now got, or it is simply 3 pi a square by 16. So do you see that we have achieved the answer? Yes. What did we do? We simply gave a value of x. In our inversion formula application, we substituted x equal to a by 2 as per our requirement, and we substitute right side also we found the value of f of x at a by 2 and got this answer, which completes part 2. Now let us see part 3. That's also not different from what we have just now done. Part 3 is to prove that integral 0 to infinity sin x minus x cos x by x cube dx is equal to pi by 4. Now don't look at that x as what we are talking as x. No. X is only a variable. You don't bother about it. Look at the format. I would like to go back to equation number 2 now, where we substituted x as a by 2. So now let me take 2 back and then see what kind of substitutions I need to make to get my new answer. So I will rewrite 2 for you and then we shall discuss. So 2 implies integral 0 to infinity sin as minus as cos of as divided by s cube multiplied by cos of sx dx is equal to 4 by pi into f of x. Now if you look at what you want there, you don't want this term at all. Now this term is not there above, isn't it, in the given question. So what do you want to make this? You want to make this 1. If you want to make it 1, what should your substitution for x be? Put x is equal to 0. Isn't it? Because cos 0 value is equal to 1. So simple. Now what we shall write, therefore, put x is equal to 0 on both sides. Now see what happens. It's integral 0 to infinity sin of as minus as cos of as divided by s cube. Cos 0 is 1 into ds is equal to 4 by pi into f of x at x is equal to 0. Correct? Now what is f of x again? Like how we found f of x at x equal to a by 2, let us find f of x at x is equal to 0. So what will it be? Simple. It is a square minus 0 square, which is a square. So this is nothing but 4 by pi into a square. Do you agree? Because I have simply put x is equal to 0 in the given function. Okay. Now, look at the function he wants. He says it is sin x minus x cos x. So what we shall do? We know a. A is what? Is a number, is an arbitrary number. So we'll give a value, put a is equal to 1. And see what happens to the integral 0 to infinity sin s minus s cos s divided by s cube ds. Now isn't the form same? And because a equal to 1, the right hand side is just pi by 4. I think we have carried the constant wrongly. It is pi by 4 instead of 4 by pi. Look at your equation number 2. It's pi by 4. I have copied it as 4 by pi. Let's make the correction here. So I will just rub this part alone and write this as pi by 4. Please note that this part where I have written it as 4 by pi, it's now pi by 4. So this becomes pi by 4. Here also we could change it. It was just a mistake which we carried forward. So now what we shall do here is put a equal to 1. So what happens to the term here? So this is going to become pi by 4. So I will rewrite it as pi by 4 into 1. But the result is given in terms of x. So what are we going to do? Yes, as you rightly guessed, you replace s by x. And therefore, what is happening? Integral 0 to infinity sin x minus x cos x divided by x cube dx is equal to pi by 4. So this is my answer for part 3. So this was also direct substitution from part 2 from the inversion formula by merely giving a value. So by putting x equal to a by 2 we got part 2. By putting x equal to 0 we got part 3. So the base for part 2 and part 3 was the inversion formula. Now in part 4 let us look at what we want to prove. So to prove that integral 0 to infinity sine of as minus as cos of as divided by s cube the whole square. I'm sure by now you are telling me what we are supposed to do is equal to pi a power 5 by 15. I told you in my previous problem that whenever the integrand contains f of s multiplied by something, then use inversion formula. But when you have the square of f of s occurring, then think about Parseval's theorem. So we are now going to apply Parseval's theorem. And how did we get the idea? Because this is nothing but a part of your f of s and you are having a square there. So since the integrand is square of f of s, we are going to now start with the Parseval's theorem. So by Parseval's theorem, let me write the statement first, which is integral minus infinity to infinity modulus of f of s the whole square ds is equal to integral minus infinity to infinity modulus f of x the whole square dx. Both are even functions. So first of all, I want you to remove that minus infinity and write it as 2 times 0 to infinity. Then we'll see what is to be done later. So since both are even functions, this could now be written as 2 times 0 to infinity modulus f of s the whole square ds is equal to 2 times 0 to infinity modulus of f of x the whole square dx. Now I cancel out the 2. I substitute for f of s. Well, from where do I substitute? This is from part 1 and for f of x it is given. So s limits vary from 0 to infinity but x limits vary from 0 to a. Please remember this. X is what is given to us. So basing on that I will rewrite 0 to infinity. F of s here is 2 into root of 2 by pi into sine as minus as cos as divided by s cube. That's what we found. I am squaring this whole term ds and right side it is 0 to infinity, not infinity, it's 0 to a. The function is a square minus x square. I am squaring that and then differentiating with respect to x. Left side we only have to simplify the integrand, but right side we need to perform the integration. So here when I rewrite the constant, it is becoming here it's 4 into 2 which is 8 by pi. So let me write 8 by pi 0 to infinity. Now you can write this as sine as minus as cos as divided by s cube ds whole square ds. Keep this as it is. And now you attack your direct integration as you normally do. A power 4 plus x power 4 minus 2a square x square dx integrated term wise. So let us not touch the left hand side but only keep simplifying the right side. So I get here a power 4x plus x power 5 by 5 minus 2a square x cube by 3 by integrating with respect to x. Then I substitute the limits as 0 to a. So if you note, therefore, I will take that pi by 8 to the other side. So it becomes integral on the left side as it is divided by s cube the whole square ds. I keep that as it is and I keep pi by 8 here. Now I substitute the upper limit. Lower limit is going to be 0 anyway. So it's a power 5 plus a power 5 by 5 minus 2a power 5 by 3. Lower limit is anyway going to be 0 because x is 0. I simplify it. I take out a power 5 common. Okay. And this is again going to be, it's 15 plus 3 minus, here it gives you 10 and divided by 15. So it's natural, it's going to be here 8, correct? So it's 8 and 8 getting cancelled. So that, and this is pi a power 5 by 8 into 8 by 15. And since 8 gets cancelled here, we have now found the answer as 0 to infinity integral sine as minus as cos as by s cube ds whole square, in fact whole square ds is equal to pi a to the power 5 divided by 15. So that completes the result of part 4. So if you have noticed, the first part was Fourier transform definition, second part was inversion, the third part here that we did was substitution, and the fourth part was Parseval's application. So please go through each of them carefully and then attempt this problem. I'm sure, though it's a lengthy problem, there is a very standard way of doing it. So if we follow these steps scrupulously, it's a very simple one. It only looks big because of the expressions, but if we follow the steps as given here, I'm sure things become very easy. These are very important exam oriented questions for students. So I hope it will help all of them to understand them better and solve. Now the previous problem was also an even function. This is also an even function. I shall then take up an odd function in my next video and do problem number 3 under type 2. Hope all of you have benefited and understood. Any doubts or comments, you can please post them and interact with me. Thank you for your patience. See you in my next video.